Okay, so in this version of Illustrator Lesson 2, we are going to work on selection tools and also work at putting this robot together. And so we're going to be talking in length about the selection tool, which is the first tool on top of your toolbar, and the direct selection tool, as well as the group selection tool. And we're going to be talking about grouping objects and aligning objects as well in this particular lesson. So what you want to do is to access this file. This will be the L2 start.ai file that you want to bring up. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about selection tools. And so I'm just going to go over into this area here. Now again, you can use your magnifying glass to zoom in to see what we're doing. But what I want to show you is when I select an object with the direct selection tool, it is selecting the entire fill and stroke of this red circle and black stroke. Again, if I come over here, I've now just selected the one on the right. Now, if I hold my Shift key down, I can select both of these objects at the same time, and I could even move these objects together. Another way to select them at the same time would be to click on my mouse and drag the black direct select or the select arrow over my two objects, and as you can see, I've selected that. Now, if you pay attention or watch what I do here, if I hold the Shift key down again, I can actually select more objects in my selection. And what you will notice is that you see this blue line. Anytime there is not a blue line such as in this one right here, unless I hover over it, that means it is not part of this group selection. So just very simplistic ways to select objects. Again, I could hover over these three and select these three at once, and again, select multiple objects this way as well. Now, one thing you'll notice when I'm moving an object down, you see these pink lines that come up. They may come up as a different color with your particular software. But these are alignment lines. These can be found in InDesign as well. And this works really well when you want to align objects either vertically or horizontally. And you can see it's aligning it with the center right here. And these are called smart guides as well. And these guides, you can align and edit them when you're creating your artwork. The bounding box is what this square is called that surrounds your shape that you've selected. And again, this would just be a bigger bounding box right here. So I'm just going to reposition the circles here and make sure that they're aligned. And to deselect, you can just click out into the white area of the artboard, and the deselect will take place. Now, if I move up here, I'm going to move up on these rounded orange. They're actually the robot's mouth here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one, and you can see we have the bounding box with, these are what we call anchor points here. But the only thing I can do with the black arrow is just move the object, or I can also change the size of an object as well by moving out the corners. But the direct selection tool here, which is the white tool, if I go in and select, and you can see the anchor points. Now the anchor points are part of what make up my entire shape. The anchor points are connected to straight lines or curved lines. And if I click in on this anchor point right here that is on a curve, you'll notice that these handles come out, okay? And again, the nice thing about this is where I can actually make adjustments to my shape because the handles are what help me create the curve. Now I'm just going to go Command Z a couple times and get back to the original shape. Now again, you have various things you can do. You can see that this is a straight line, but if I grab the handle, you'll notice that the straight line here on the side isn't changing. This handle just works with the curve right here. The straight lines do not have handles. We can do just like we did with your selection tool here, where we selected both objects. And again, I could change the relative size of the object, but that is the only changes I can make with this tool other than moving it. If I take the direct selection tool and then create a marquee selection over these, and then I click on the anchor point, you'll notice that now I can go in and change the different selections inside here. Okay, so yes, you can select multiple selections with the direct selection tool as well. There's another selection tool here that I want to show you as well. This is the Y key on your keyboard. And this selection tool is nice because it will select common attributes such as fill color. So watch what happens when I select on this shape here in the red. You'll notice that the red is also selected up there. Same thing here. If I select the magic wand tool, it selects everything in that area. And so this is just another quick way, especially if you want to select objects that have the same attributes. And as I talked about in Illustrator, there are many ways to do similar operations. So I want to show you another selection technique. For example, if I click on the red circle with the black outline, a select similar objects icon will show up on my options bar here. And I have a pull down menu where I can say, okay, I want you to do a stroke color. Or I can go and say, oh, I want you to select the fill color. And so then it just selects similar shapes with that fill color. So this is another way that you can do that as well. So let's say I wanted to select all of these. I could do the same thing and then just go to fill color. But one of the things here is that it doesn't go backwards. So I have to go to stroke color here. And it will select all of those. Now, if I wanted to go back and select fill color, I could. Okay, and so this is the robot mouth. And so at this time, you may want to save your selection. Anyways, we're going to now go over to the robot bottom, his body part here, his torso. And with the selection tool, I'm going to click on it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to View and Outline. And now this brings us in with that outline mode that we talked about. And the thing is that this kind of might be helpful if you don't want the colors and the shapes showing, especially if you have a very busy artboard that you're working with a lot of different colors and shapes. But what we're going to have you do right now is I want you to select this right eye on the robot. Now you can move it with your mouse, or you can also take your right key, your arrow keys, and you can line it up that way. And so I just took my left arrow key and then just move that selection over. So we're going to go back out of the outline mode and we'll hit preview. And so now we are going to be working on the mouth of the robot here. And I'm going to select all of these parts of his mouth there. And then if you go up here, you're going to notice that you have different commands here of alignment. And these work really well because you can see that these are all scattered about. And what we want to do is we want to align these so that we get them more evenly distributed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the vertical align with the bottom tool. And you can see you got vertical center align and you've got vertical top align. We're going to go to the bottom align. And now you've noticed that I have all of these parts of the mouth all vertically aligned at the bottom. Okay? And then another thing is that when we have this clicked on, if I click on to just one section here, and I've actually made this my key object, and what we're going to do, you can see a thick blue outline has appeared on the key object. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to go to the vertical align top. And you can see the same thing happened, and I aligned it with that top shape there. So that's just another way of doing that. Last alignment we're going to do here is we're going to align these. We're going to align them on a horizontal distribute